Hello, video is to show how to add pagination to a React project. So here I have a list of numbers. It's a really long list, so we're going to want to split that into multiple pages. I'll show you just how to do that. I'm more or less copying the pagination section from this tutorial. This is the Mastering React class from Mosh Hamadani. This is a great class that I highly recommend if you're looking to improve your React skills. And I have that linked on the linked page. We're going to be using the library Lodash. So this is a very helpful library that extends the functionality of JavaScript. It's all the stuff you wish was built into the programming language. So make sure you have that imported into your project. So we're going to be using this Lodash on this page. I'm using the range method of Lodash to create an array of 1 to 30, which is those numbers displayed on the page, and I'm mapping through those to display them. So what we're going to do to get started is we'll start creating our variables. So first thing, we're going to define a page size. I'll set mine to 7, and then we're going to use the useState hook to create a variable in our state that will keep track of what page the user is on. And we're going to initialize that to page 1. And then from there we will define a function that will allow us to call our setCurrentPage function. So pass in a page, and then we're going to set current page to that page. Okay. So now from there, we're going to create a new file. It's going to be called Pagination. It's going to be a React functional component, and we're going to pass some props into there. And then we're going to destructure our props so that we can use them a little easier. So we're going to have our items count, which is the total number of items we have, our page size, which is the one that we just set, the current page that the user has selected, and then our on page change function. And then after that, we'll create a pages count variable. And so that's going to be set to our items count divided by our page size. And this will tell us how many pages we need to have. But this might not return an integer. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the math.ceiling to round that up to the nearest integer. And as a little catch here, what we'll do is we're going to say that if the pages count is equal to 1, so if there's only one page, that we're going to return null. In other words, we won't use pagination because there's no need to do it if we only have one page. It'll just confuse our user. And then after that, we're going to define another variable called pages. And then we're going to use Lodash again, our range method. And we're going to set that from 1 to our pages count plus 1, since this is non-inclusive. And then we'll make sure that we import Lodash from Lodash. Okay, now down here, we'll get rid of this. We'll do a nav. Oh, you know what? Actually, we'll do a nav with the class name Pagination, because this is a Bootstrap class that we can use. So make sure you have Bootstrap installed in your project. And so within that, we're going to map through our pages. And for each page, we will create a list item. And each list item is going to have a key that will set to the page so that each one will be unique and React won't yell at us. And then for the class, we're actually going to set this dynamically. So what we're going to do is if the page equals the current page, we want that one to be highlighted. So we'll set it to page item active. Otherwise, for all the other ones, we want to set those to page item. Okay, so within this, each list item, we're going to have a link. And that link is going to have a class name of PageLink to use the Bootstrap functionality. And so what that will be, we'll dynamically set that to the page that we're mapping through. So that'll be a number that you can click to link to the next page. And so to handle that click, we'll do an on-click function. And so we'll set that to our on page change function that we created. Okay, that looks good for this. We'll go in here and right under this unordered list, we'll go ahead and import our pagination. And then we're going to need to pass in all our props to it. So items count is equal to item list dot length to give us the number of items that we have. We have the current page that the user has selected. It's the current page. Our page size is set to our page size. And then our on page change is set to our handle page change function. Okay, and we'll make that self-closing. Great. Now if we look at our page, we have our pagination numbers down here, but the list is still a whole big list. This doesn't actually affect it yet. So in order to only display the items on the current page, we're going to go and we're going to create another file. We're going to name it Paginate. And again, we're going to import Lodash from Lodash. And we're going to create a default function to export. We're going to name it Paginate. We're going to pass in 3 parameters into this function. The items array, our current page number, and the page size. And so to start off, we're going to define a variable called start index. And now we're going to set to the page number -1 times the page size. And so then underneath that, we'll return. We're going to use Lodash. We're going to pass in our array of items. We're going to slice that starting at the start index, and then we will take our page size, and then we will return it as a value so it'll display properly. And so now, to bring that in, let's import it. Import Paginate from Paginate. And then we'll define a new variable here called page items, which will be just the items on our current page. We're going to use our Paginate function, and we're going to pass in our item list, our current page, and our page size. And now we can switch this to display our page items. And now this pagination works. I hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching.